And welcome back, Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith. Just Keith's cool with me. Boy, what a quarter that was. That's the end of the first quarter. End of March, finally upon us. Boy, we get a breath of fresh air after that terrible start to 2026. Hope you guys are ready. We'll talk all about it. Welcome to Charts After Dark. If you haven't done so, please go hit the like button, and knowing that's not financial advice. While you're there, subscribe because absolutely nothing is totally free. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. All right. I've got gold pulled up on the screen. So to talk about gold first. What's up, Distinctive Sean? Good to see you, brother. My nose is killing me, fellas. I'm a sniffling nightmare today. I got pollen blown all over me. God, it sucked. I was in my truck, parked, eating my lunch, and a guy in a landscaping company with his leaf blower blew the entire parking lot off and blew it all towards me. And it was ruthless, dude. And I've been a sniffling nightmare since. I mean, it was a cloud of yellow. I was like, dang, man, come on, bro. But hey, what are you going to do? Anyway, first and foremost on gold, let's talk about the short-term breakout that we've got happening right now. Awesome, right? Some good buy pressure coming up off of that red hammer candle that we threw. We had a rollover happen on Thursday, last live stream, and then coming into today, finally, we saw that big push up over the course of the day. Not only was it gold, it was pretty much every asset, which we'll go through here. Didn't matter if it's one of the top assets, whether it's a crypto, etc. By the end of the day, pretty much everything rallied. Not everything, pretty much everything rallied. And you got a short-term breakout of this red trend line here on gold. Now, the problem with that is you still have your upper trend line unvalidated. You haven't tested it or broken it yet. And that's a long way to go to get up there. Log, linear, doesn't matter. It's the same difference either way. Add in the fact that once you look at your moving averages, you did get back over the 100 and bounce off the 200 rather perfectly. But you're still underneath the 21 EMA. You did break the 8 EMA, by the way. You're still underneath the 21. And you got this 50 moving average here that's going to likely act as a bit of a hard cap. I expected to come up here and test that 50 moving average, which is about 4,900 to 5,000. 5,000 just makes sense as a psychological barrier. $5,000 an ounce will get retested and it will hit it again. And once it does, you'll see Peter Schiff start jerking himself off again, telling himself how great he is, how amazing. Oh, gold it's gold and it's only gold. And I'm the smartest because I told everyone to buy gold and blah, 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 blah. Never ending. If you haven't understood it yet, I'm not a fan of talking heads who come on and think that they're the one that's done. No, you're not. No, you're not. Like, come on. I love it when people try to give themselves credit for everything. It's just not something I try to do very often. So anyway, like the short-term bounce here for gold. Look at this MACD. You're slowly over time here working your way back to a positive cross on the MACD. Your sell volume has really tapered off here. Still haven't got into the bearish territory, obviously, the bullish territory, obviously, but you like to see the convergence and the switch over. After being oversold, first time gold was oversold since September of 23. First time, fellas. She started to come up off the bottom of that oversold just a little bit. Again, the question remains, well, how far is this going to go? Again, I think we set up that $5,000 level. And we likely play around a little bit right there and continue that consolidation, in my opinion. This thing needs to consolidate a bit. It simply hasn't consolidated enough lately. Could it come through here and break out, get over this trend line? Yes, it very well could. I just don't lean toward that based on the fact that it went so far, so fast, in such a hurry, and didn't look back. Now, we saw this weekly candle playing out really, really interestingly, throwing that doji candle, and now you see this week actively trying to push up through the 21 EMA and get back over the AEMA after closing 2 closes under. Can it do it? Well, I'm skeptical of that. And your weekly AEMA is at 47.75. Daily, I said 5,000. So we'll see if we hit it and fade or what. If we can get over that weekly AEMA, you may take a run at this trend line. But again, it's a bit mute until you break this trend line. All right. Looking at the monthly. So on the monthly, things are a little better. All you did was kiss the ADMA and bounce off of it. You've started the month fresh and new today. Could have been way worse, but it wasn't. It hasn't been under the AEMA on the monthly chart since October of 23. That same time, it was oversold. How about the quarter? Since we have a new month and a new quarter, what about the quarterly chart? Goodness. Gold has not slowed down since 2018, quarterly speak. And that was when it came off of the 50 moving average, broke the 821 EMA, and sprinted up for what's going on 7 or 8 years straight. Really impressive. Yes, it did tail off to the side a bit here and have a bit of time before it broke through resistance, but it did eventually break. And my goodness, did it ever bump and run. Quarters, really impressive. And it's not a bad candle on the quarterly there. It's a little squirrely, but not bad. You don't like to see that big of a tail on top. That being said, look at this overbought situation on the quarter. My goodness. This is the most it's been overbought since 2011. Again, a generational run. I'm curious how much farther it'll go. Like I said, 5,000 I think is the head bump level. But if it goes farther than that, I'm happy about it. I just don't expect it. So let's revert back a little bit here and go back to Bitcoin. Let me pull up a clean Bitcoin chart. That's not correct. There we go. All right. Here's Bitcoin on the quarterly. Every 3 months is a quarter. This is the first quarter that we've closed of the year. It just happened tonight. Just got the jazz going too. Forgot about it. But as you see, wait a minute zone could be way worse, honestly. This is why I look at this and I go, well, this still got some fade back left in it, doesn't it? 21 EMA on the quarter is at 57.7. Flipping it back to the monthly. You see that. That's the monthly 50 moving average. You're likely to bump your head on that. That's 58,137. That's just above 57.8 like it was a second ago. More confluence of that area. Then we go down to the weekly chart here. You're trying to make a move here, but you still haven't come up off this base, which tells me that we're still more likely than not leaning toward this 200 moving average on the weekly here, which is at about 59.5. All right, so 59.5 down to 57.7. All through here is a bit of a landing spot, in my opinion, that's likely to happen going into June. And then we should see some sort of bounce there when the new FOMC comes into play. Now, down to the daily chart where we make our decisions. I wrote on the thumbnail, this is a perfectly bearish chart. Will there be more blood? Well, if you look at it, you see what I'm seeing here. Short term, all you've done is come close to kissing the trend line and fading back again. All right, that's just not good enough price action for me to be moved by it. To me, this price action still looks quite sketch. Linear or log, doesn't matter. You can see it's pinned under the trend line. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You did jump the AEMA, and I'm happy about that, but it's still way too iffy for me with this 50 moving average and the 21 EMA lining up nearly perfectly with the trend line, all in the same spot. This, to me, looks bearish, like it's going to touch this and then fade back. Now, I am happy if that doesn't happen. I hate to be the eternal optimist because in this game, you're usually wrong if you're always optimistic. Right? It turns out that there's far more pessimistic times than there are optimistic times. And if that's the case, we need to be more pessimistic than optimistic. A lot of people hadn't figured that out yet, and they keep continuing being optimistic no matter what. It's just something you're never going to get from me. Right? I've talked about this thousands of times. Short term, this is still bearish to me. It's a perfect bearish setup. We did shift pivots. So since the pivots have shifted, 69,750 is where the pivot sits. Not bad. Can we improve from that? Of course we can. It hasn't done it yet, but I do think she can try. If it doesn't try 65,559 or 65,600 back down to S1 where these candles created this little short-term low. And yes, that is a higher low technically. See that there? If we make a new low, 63 seems to be a fair place. And anything lower than that sends us back down into the turbulent waters of that 59.8 to 57.7 level. Back down there at 58.8, where we had some other moving averages and such sitting waiting. This is like precursor to me. All right. It's almost sort of like it's telling us what's going to happen. I'm hopeful that it doesn't, but I'm optimistic that I'm right. It sucks. I don't want to be right about the charts going down. I want them to go up because everybody makes money when the charts go up. You know, it's not beneficial for me to come on here and be bearish. It's just honest. And honesty is not really what you guys, I say not necessarily what you guys, most people want to hear. If you're watching here because you appreciate the honesty, we always keep it 100 no matter what. I'm not going to bullshit it, sugarcoat it, or ever change what I'm doing because it feels good. I'm never going to do that. I'm always going to go based on the charts, and then we'll make an assessment and decision based on the data. For me, right now, this is still perfectly bearish. Change my mind by breaking the trend line, then we'll be good to go. Now, it is of note that while Bitcoin is perfectly bearish, Ethereum did something a little different here. It actually broke this short-term trend line that Bitcoin's having a hard time dealing with right now. Clean break, actually. And not only that, but you are over the 50 moving average and the 821 EMA, all three. Over all three of them. Very nice. You see here, you got your uptrend line, just like Bitcoin, higher low each time. You haven't made a lower low just yet, other than this short-term little lower low right here. Now, to validate this, we need to get back over 2,200. If you get back over 2,200, you change a lot of stuff here. It hasn't happened yet, but if it does that, broken the short-term lows, and you can think about running back up here to this 2,400 to 2,500 level where the 100 moving average is. Don't get over optimistic just yet. Right? We've got stuff in the way. Ichimoku cloud at the top, that's about 2,400, like I just said. That's the top of the cloud. It is green on the end. That's good. Your lag line is over the candles. That's good, but that's all you've got. Right now, the baseline is over the conversion line. That's not good enough, and you are inside the cloud. You need this to be over the cloud, and it hasn't gotten there yet. It's a long way yet just to get up there, all right? Here's your pivot points, and there's another little bit of spookiness. You want to get over this pivot point, and you aren't yet. You're still dead flat underneath it. Getting over that pivot point opens up a chance to take out that 2,200 level. Taking out the 2,200 level lets us take a swing at the 2,400 level up there where that 100 moving average is. You have to do this in steps, one step at a time. All right? Your MACD has improved. See, that had dipped down and turned red and had a lot of heavy sell volume involved in with it. But recently, Ethereum has slowly started to manipulate the bears into a bad spot here, pushing them out and making them run away and have losing sell volume. You haven't quite crossed bullish on that just yet, but dang if it ain't trying. All right, and your RSI isn't really any help. It's more sideways than not after coming off that heavy oversold condition that happened back in February. So, kicking it out high time frame, Ethereum still looks pretty darn terrible. We can't deny that. I'll flip it out here and give us a better look. That is the monthly 236 fib, and as you see, it's been quite contentious since 2021. We've been hitting the same line since 2021, right through there. All right, are we going to hold it or are we going to fail it? Well, history says even if we fail it, we don't fail it for very long. We're only going to come back down so far, and then we're going to take another run at it again. So holding on to 1900 is pretty darn crucial. If you hold on to 1900, you avoid falling to 1000 because, in my opinion, if you lose 1900 again for a long stretch here and you don't break this red trend line, then you're going to come back down here and potentially test 1000 again. And that would really, really, really sting the nostrils for people holding on to Ethereum. Your weekly cloud is no bueno. Your weekly moving averages are no bueno. Kicking it out to daily is the only good look you got, being over the 821 and 50. So things have started to turn in the right direction for ETH, but I need to see a little bit more proof. And I don't want that to be that way. I would prefer if all these things just went up, bro. And they all went way up and everybody got paid. What's up, B. Henry? Shout out to B. Henry. He's dead right, bro. Thank God for the end of that quarter. What a ruthless couple months that was. All right. Now we have a look at XRP, which, guess what, is perfectly bearish. Same scenario here where you're sort of pinned down by a short-term downtrend. You don't have enough buy pressure yet to move you out of the trash, and the sell pressure continues to hold the price down underneath moving averages. Can't quite get out of its own way just yet. Since you're underneath everything and you haven't broken the 821 or 50, for me right now, it's still a no until you change a little bit more in the positive direction. MACD does have tapering off sell pressure. That's good. Your RSI is kind of sideways here, not much help. Look where the pivots came in at. So pivot point here is at 141. Call it 140. It's a long way from where we're at. To me, you're more inclined to come back to this 129 to 130 area before. What's up, Philip? Good to see you, brother. Before you move up to the 140 level, that looks like more like 130 to me. We're at 133 now. It's not even that far off. And if you kick this thing out to the higher time frames a little bit, you'll see that the 821 is really bearing down on this thing. And we're slowly having this 200 moving average creep its way up here toward this green box target that I've got. We haven't quite gotten there yet. I do think it's gonna. That was a terrible monthly close for XRP as well. 821 downward cross on the monthly. You're in cruise control no for the long haul here until we see something change. Not great news, but at least it's over for that quarter. What a terrible quarter. All right. Let's go look at, oh, ears itching and I'm thirsty and I'm about to sneeze. What a combination, dude. That's a hell of a three. There we go. There's the jazz. I accidentally cut it off again. Of course I did.
Damn.
All right, so let's go through real quick. What we'll do, what we'll do is we'll go through the S&P 500 and all the indices real quick. I'll group these together, and then we'll make a post about them over on X or something. But hey, hell of a fight back today to end the month and end the quarter off. But the problem is it was just good enough to get back to resistance. That green box was support before it failed. Once it failed, now it is resistance. Now you must get back over it, and you have not done so yet. Here's the trend line angling down very aggressively. You have to break this trend line to essentially get back over that support. And as long as you're under support, that means you are under resistance. Support is no longer support when you're underneath it. It's resistance then. Here's your daily moving averages. You did creep back over the 8. Hell of a day, hell of a finish for the month and the quarter, but I think that just put a wick on the candle. You're still stuck, like I said. All your moving averages are either going sideways or bearing down on the price. Ichimoku Cloud, you did get back over the conversion line, but that's it. That's not enough to really move the needle for me. Kicking it out to weekly, you did bounce the 236 fib here, which is better than not. I don't want to see it really dig in too much more, because if it digs in too much more, we're heading back for 2024 support back at 600. If we cannot hold 640, we're heading back down to 600-ish, in my opinion. Here's the moving averages as well. You almost got over that 50 moving average. There's still 2 days left on this week. and we're going to see if we close above 648 or not. Closing above 648 on the end of the week would be a positive step in the right direction on an otherwise pretty rough looking chart after the last month. It was a brutal month. Your MACD and your RSI are really no help. They do have a lot of divergence apart from each other. And you did come off of oversold pretty aggressively, but you may dig back in again for the S&P 500. Haven't looked at my 401k, but my alt investments paid me $1,000 this month. Not bad. All right. So NASDAQ, you did creep back over the 8 EMA just like the S&P 500, right? Cool. Problem is you're still pinned under the trend line, and that 200 moving average is directly in line with the trend line. And you are underneath the zone, the range now after falling under that green line again. That's resistance now. Your MACD and your RSI were almost identical to the S&P 500. Come up and fall oversold. That's good. Ichimoku clouds identical to the S&P 500. Pivot points, you're just stuck perfectly. I can't get it out. Stuck perfectly underneath the pivot point right there at 23,899, almost 24,000. Not quite. 23,899. Once you get above that, you can attempt to attack that trend line, that range bottom. I don't know that that's necessarily going to break out. I do like the volume. That's a big bunch of volume. That's good. But again, it's the end of the month and it's trying to clear out. I'm not sure I buy it. What's up? Good to see you, Busted. What's up, brother? It said stayed up a club. Oh, yeah. Codex. Yeah, he's been doing Codex stuff. I know I told you that I would talk to you after the stream, dude, but I'm sleepy, bro. I'm sitting here struggling right now. Dow Jones. Gotten old, dude. Man, I got old quick. It happens quick, fellas. You think you're doing all right, and then bam, the old stick hits you in the head. What do they call those? A cane. Anyway, 46,900, call it 47,000 for the Dow. Same situation. We had a really good volume push, but you still didn't break trend. You're still pinned underneath that 200 moving average and the 21 EMA. And the Ichimoku clouds identical to the NAS and the SPX. Not a lot there. Again, I need to see a little bit more proof. Hey, that's some green volume, but it's done this before, right? So be careful. MACD is only a help for confluence. That's it. You don't go crazy on the MACD. Last one of the indices here, we'll do the Russell. It's been a little better coming off the 200 moving average right there. That's good. The MACD is a little bit more helpful. Super way down there and consolidating. You don't have any green volume yet, so you don't really have a push to get you over the hump. We still see. It hasn't gotten there just yet for me. It didn't go oversold either. I worry that maybe there's another stab down. And I know I said that was last one. This is last one. SMH, VanEck Semiconductor Fund, big push up to end the month right there. You snuck back over the 100 moving average. Look at the wick on the monthly candle. I'm inclined to think that we chase this wick back a little bit, at least on the next monthly candle. Look, maybe it doesn't and it just keeps going, but it's highly doubtful. So I'd like to see it stay above that blue line that you see right there. That blue line acts as a back support all the way back from October. It tried to fail it, then it snapped right back over it. I like the battle. Keep it up. There's you some indices. Hope you understand what I'm saying. Anybody who doesn't understand what I'm saying, please do not hesitate to ask questions. That's what we do this for. We put all this information out there because we want people to learn how to do this for yourself. We want people to learn how to take the power into your own hands and make your own decisions for you, by you. I wish more people would do it. I can't make people do it. Hey, man. Once you understand that it's you and you're in charge of it, it matters more. That's what our group is all about. Check us out right there, wap.com/team 786 down at the bottom. First month's free, then it's only $8. If you don't want to pay the $8, you don't have to. You can cancel anytime. And then you get a free month, right? So let's go a couple more main assets here, and then we'll bounce. Tesla. Yeah. You had a good day, but again, so much sell pressure. You came down and tagged the 1272 at 355. You have not yet gone oversold. You came really close and you're still under trend. I'm inclined to believe that we got some more down in here somewhere. Still think we might try to tickle that 350 level again, or perhaps even down to 325 where it would really start to sting. Apple, still back and forth here, ping-ponging around. It showed like it wanted to fail and then snap right back up off of that support box like you didn't see a lot of others do. It's getting pinned by the weekly 821 EMA, has the 50 moving average on the weekly underneath there trying to catch the price. I'm hopeful that it can. It hasn't proved it yet, but hey, fingers crossed that it's got it in it. Microsoft. Boy, after skating lower and lower and lower, she did have a good day yesterday. But again, that was just enough to end the month off and not do enough. Woof, back to the 80 EMA. Look at the weekly. She failed the 200. I think it's possible she continues to test the bottom of the 200 moving average here. And if we don't get some action, she's going to get into a really, really, really bad predicament and ain't going to be able to get out of that shit. So turn the damn corner already. Here's Meta weekly. Big bounce on the week after that gnarly Friday, Thursday and Friday that we had. We've erased pretty much the whole Thursday and Friday, not quite all of it. We did get back to the 8 EMA. We're going to see where the month opens up. Again, I'm inclined to believe that they're setting up the bulls for a disaster, right? What we call creating a bull trap. All right, so right there's your trend line. I can make it red so it's a little easier to understand. There you go. Break that trend line and prove it to me. Till then, I'm inclined to think down and sideways till somewhere around mid to late May. Then perhaps things change. NVIDIA, same story, broken the range. You can see there, we fell under all the moving averages. And if I just do a little simple drawing, you can see that this was the range before, and we fell under it rather dramatically. It's going to have to prove it by breaking trend. If it breaks trend, it can either get back in this long range here, and I'll draw you a bit of a channel here so you can understand what I'm talking about. You're going to look at that and go, Keith, but it is breaking back in. Not yet. That's still fool's gold till I see another close or two. It hasn't gotten back into that range. Once it gets back into that range and breaks that trend line, I'll change my tone. That just quite hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? Just quite hasn't happened. So I've got my eye on many of these. I've been waiting to DCA some assets. I thought about it. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I'm break even on some, up on some, and then I'm down on Tesla. So I haven't made my mind up yet. I may DCA it, may just wait for that drop back down to 350 or 325 because I don't think it's got a ton more down left in it. You know, everything's sort of moved together between regular assets, gold, commodities, futures, and crypto. They've all kind of moved together in the same direction. So I'm inclined to think we got more down here till June. So I don't want to make any silly decisions. Happy birthday, Philip. So listen, I appreciate everybody coming, hanging out, and watch. I hate to be negative Nancy here and bearish, but even though we had a good day yesterday, it was the end of the month and the end of the quarter and the end of the day. All that sprinting up is a bit, to me, it's a bit, and it makes me stop and wonder. I'd like to keep an eye on this stuff a little longer before I make a silly, crazy decision. We talk about this stuff nonstop, 24/7, 365 over in our Discord. Here it is right here, folks. WAP.com/team786. We do this together. We share charts. We share strategies. I share my charts constantly all throughout the day, throughout the night, sometimes in the middle of the night. It just depends. And it's all about learning and putting the power into your own hands. Again, first month free. After that, it's a whopping $8, and then cancel anytime you want. You don't ever have to pay a dime if you don't like to. You can cancel it as soon as you have it if you want. It's up to you. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. We'll be back Thursday, same time, 10 o'clock, and we'll go back over this stuff again, see what it looks like a couple days into the month. Whether things changed or got better or got worse, I don't know yet. We'll find out. I appreciate it. You guys be good. Sky's the limit. I'm out. Peace.